Okay, so we're back finally. I mean, I guess technically we did this little 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
Yeah.
a week and a half ago.
roughly.
Yep. We last time we had picked Shark Tale, and that was Matthew's choice, and we watched it, and we all hated it, and we our lives got very busy, and
We saw no value in doing any kind of recording
yeah,
on
but
it.
we did talk about it.
We did talk
We
about it,
spent like a good
Briefly.
well,
Yeah.
we spent like maybe 30 minutes talking about it.
which is about all it needs.
Yeah, and I think we all did. We all give it 1 star.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's terrible. It's
Yeah.
so terrible.
yeah, it's pretty terrible. So,
Mhm.
and I mean, honestly, I just didn't see the value of. I mean, we could have recorded it, but it just with enough stuff going on is like, you know what? Let's just get this out of the way now.
We
Yeah.
want to talk more about One Piece too, anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we did have a brief discussion about One Piece too.
Right, we
Mhm.
did.
So it probably would have made a decent recording, but oh well,
Mhm.
not a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
And so then it was Mark's choice, and Mark, what did you pick?
I picked Batman Under the Red Hood.
Right, and
Right.
you
Yes.
kind of want to give us a brief synopsis of the movie.
Yes. It was our second animated movie. I figured it was a good choice.
So our second.
Mhm.
Yeah, because Shark Tale and then this. That's it.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
all we've done animated
All right,
wise.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry. My next one won't be animated, but anyway.
It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. So the brief synopsis of it is Batman's partner Robin is apparently killed in the very beginning of the movie by Joker, and during there is a, and then after about 5 years later, there is a masked vigilante named the Red Hood who is going around trying to deal with the mob and control them but wanting to impose some strict rules on them so they don't cause any sort of chaos. And it is revealed near the end of the movie that the Red Hood is actually Robin.
Is it really much of a reveal, though? I mean, I think we're supposed to like know from the get-go, right?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
If you can recognize the voice, yeah. I mean, it's just, well, he doesn't really talk much in the beginning, but it's it's sort of revealed after well, it's very hinted at whenever is it Deadwing or
Nightwing.
Nightwing, thank you.
Nightwing.
Nightwing and Batman try and chase him down, and he performs that technique where he cuts the rope before the rope snags on his legs and he gets away, and then Deadwing's like, no one should know how to do that, and it kind of like does like a flashback to when Robin did it. So it's kind of hinted there, and then of course Batman discovers that Red Hood said his real name,
Right.
Bruce. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, is it really him? And then it's finally confirmed when they do a blood sample on one of the katanas that the assassins try to kill Red Hood with, that it is actually Red Hood, or that it is actually Robin, I mean.
Right.
And then the movie ends with another showdown between Batman and Robin. Excuse me, and it ends with I think Robin dying again, and the Joker is put back into Arkham Asylum, and Batman goes on to doing what Batman does best.
Yes. Yes.
I hope that was brief enough.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So obviously based on pre-existing comic books, I don't know if that's how all the DC, or at least the more recent in the say like the past 10 years, because this is like 2011 or whatever, or 2010.
Yeah.
This one is specifically based off of like a arc in the Batman story out of the thousands and thousands of arcs. I don't know if that's how all the cartoons are. I'm sure most of the cartoon movies at least take inspiration from it. So what do we think?
Matthew can go first.
It was all right. I watched it today, just kind of sporadically. I was at work, then I came home and I finished it.
Mhm.
And it was okay. I mean, I don't know if this is going to stick with me very much. But I did. I mean, I had fun with it. It was entertaining enough. There's not. I don't think I have a whole lot to say about it outside of some couple of points that I think could be interesting. But yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, as far as like what I liked about it, I thought the action scenes were pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I mean that's pretty par for the course with these movies, right? I think I haven't seen too many of them. I used to watch like the older Batman stuff and like from like the 90s when I was much younger.
Mhm.
But yeah, well, I don't know. Well, Mark, what made you want to pick this movie?
Well, Matthew, we had not seen an animated movie, and Matthew picked a terrible one for our first one. So I was just like, we'll kind of keep the like genre.
Yeah.
We'll kind of
Okay.
Sure.
get some variety to it, and we haven't. I figured animated movies were kind of on the list. Of course, this is all random. We don't have like any sort of like theme going on here.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I chose it, and I mean, at the time when that really stuck out to me, that I remembered liking so much when I was a lot younger, was Under the Red Hood.
Yeah.
And I think I had seen like a review. Some people were doing like a watch through commentary on one of the current DC movies,
Mm.
and like I think like that same day I was that we did the Shark Tale discussion, that I was like, oh, this like I was watching. I'm like I was watching some DC stuff earlier. Kind of want to, maybe and a really good DC movie that I like a lot is Under the Red Hood. So
Yeah.
that was my decision. That was my reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're definitely like in the majority. Everywhere I look, people like love this movie. Like they say it's like
Mhm.
one of the best Batman animated films, and it's got like an 8.3 or something on IMDb, which is just
Really?
Yeah.
crazy
The you
high.
Wow.
yeah, the YouTube comments, because I got the YouTube movies. That's how I get most of my
Yeah,
movies.
me too.
It
Yeah.
was all those Batman cartoons are streaming on HBO Max.
Okay.
Oh shoot. Okay.
But
Yeah,
I
if it's
just kind of
Warner
rented it through
Brothers,
there.
it's on HBO Max.
That's a
Okay.
good point. Yeah.
So
But all the comments there were super positive. So yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah, Mark, you're definitely in the majority there. I I remember when I first saw it, like, well, I vaguely remember when I first saw it. I mean, 2010. I think I saw it around the time it came out, and I was like
Mm.
home visiting from the Navy or something, and I think we watched it.
Right.
And when I saw it, I remember being really underwhelmed, like really
Mm.
unimpressed, and it just did not stick with me at all.
Mhm.
Really surface level stuff that I don't like is I think it's got probably some of the like the worst voice casting for like an animated movie, and they've got like these big named actors like Bruce Greenwood as Batman, which it's like why didn't they just get Kevin Conroy? But
Sure.
I mean, there's plenty of Batman animated movies where Conroy isn't doing it, and whatever. But I think the two worst. Well, they got Jensen Ackles as Jason. Oh my gosh, not Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron's the comic writer. Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Jason Todd, who is Red Hood, and they've got uh, uh, John DiMaggio, who does Bender in Futurama. He's doing the Joker. And the Joker is probably the worst part of this movie, in my
Yeah.
opinion. He is just so well, and which is sad because he's like integral to like the whole Red Hood story. I mean,
Yeah, he is. He's like the
so
main.
yeah. So let me. I'm gonna brief. I took some notes on this. I haven't taken notes on a movie in a while because I don't know. I haven't. But So I guess my main gripe, so that's like the surface level thing. It's like they like paid like these well-known actors, like Jensen Ackles was on Supernatural for like 15 years. He's one of the main
Sure.
characters, and then they had Neil Patrick Harris doing
Yeah.
Nightwing, and
Yes.
he's terrible too. Like those, so the like the four main, and I mean Bruce Greenwood is serviceable as Batman, and
Mm.
Jensen Ackles is all right as Jason Todd, Robin Hood, or Red Hood. He doesn't do anything special, I don't think. But John DiMaggio is just terrible as Robin or as the Joker. It's just like the worst thing ever. His laugh is okay, but the line delivery, it sounds like he's literally reading off a script. What does he say? At one point, he says, like at that final scene, which is supposed to be dramatic, and it's natural in a dramatic scene like that for the Joker to kind of poke fun at the situation. But like the lines he was saying in that scene that's supposed to be this dramatic confrontation between Bruce and Jason confronting him on his failures, and the basically the architect of the failures is Joker, and he's there, and we know that Jason wants to kill Joker. Like Joker is just kind of like making like literal Big Bang Theory level jokes in the scene, and he's like going, "Oh, I want to be a part of the party. You're
Right.
a party pooper. No cake for
Mhm.
Yeah, I
you."
found that
He's
odd.
like a little meme. He's like memeing, and it's like so cringy. So that ruined it for me. And he's like that in almost every scene. He's got, I don't know. Yeah. So the Joker, which is sad because he's, like I said, he's supposed to be an integral part of the movie. Again, this is all my opinion, but this is just like what I got out of it.
I did find it. I did find it unnecessary. A lot of that kind of stuff. That
The
like his dialogue and the way he was
well,
talking about things, like not dialogue in general, just the like you were talking about the joke stuff and like the
and
weird.
it is completely within the. That's what I'm saying. It is completely within the Joker's character to behave that way,
Sure.
but the execution is so poor. And I think that speaks to like a bigger issue with the movie is that it's tonally all over the place. Like the
Mm.
tone is just like it wants to be serious, but it also wants to be really fun and lighthearted. It wants to like they do like the whole stuff with like Batman taking down that Amazo guy, which is like supposed to be fun and kind of cool, but it's like you like just oppose that against like the Red Hood later like murdering a guy like after they fight those assassins, which is completely within the Red Hood's character.
Sure.
I guess as far as I'm probably out of the three of us, and I'm not even trying to toot my own horn here. I'm probably the most well versed on Batman comics.
Oh yeah,
I know I've read
for
way
sure.
more than both of you, so I have to also take that into account, right? Because I have like
Right.
this pre-existing
Experience.
knowledge, yeah, and experience of what I expect from a Batman story. While y'all are more like kind of coming in from a different
Layman's.
position, yeah. So for me, like from the get-go, I already know where the story is going. I'm more interested about how they're going to tell it, right?
Mm.
And but I think there's still like there's criticisms that can be levied that can be applied not objectively, but at least from like a kind of wider scope. And that's where I talk about tone. Like, am I just like kind of just talking out of my ass here, but do you guys kind of get what I'm saying with the whole tone? Like it's kind of like wants to be serious, but it's
I
also
can I can see what
it
you're
almost like
saying.
undercuts itself at times. I don't know.
I can see what you're saying with the some of the breakneck pacing and tone.
Well,
About
it's an
how
hour and 15 minutes, which is
yeah,
standard for these movies,
right.
and it's like it definitely works for this story. It works against it, and that's what's so weird to me. That's so weird. I was reading some of that like the 8s, 9s, and 10 ratings on IMDb, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's such a focused story," and I'm like, it doesn't feel focused. Like it takes us. We kind of get flashbacks of how Jason Todd performed as Robin, and that's kind of all we're given. What they
Yeah.
really should have done is had a movie where they kind of established Jason Todd's character because he was the more roguish, kind of arrogant Robin
Robin.
who
Mhm.
wouldn't really Bruce couldn't control really, and a big element of the story is Bruce feeling like he failed Jason, and obviously that climaxes in his ultimate failure of letting Jason die. Which brings me to my next criticism. I'm gonna get through my notes because it's not it's I don't hate that. Let me be clear. I don't hate this movie. There's just like I said, I'm coming in as like kind of like a pre-existing Batman fan. I'm not a mega nerd. Like I've read Like I've read some Scott Snyder that I've shared with you, Matthew. I've
Right.
read some Grant Morrison that I love, and that's about the scope of my Batman knowledge. Well, and I've read the more recent Tom King run, so I have like maybe 5 to 8 years of Batman knowledge. I have no idea of like the scope. I don't even think I've read. I've never read the actual Red Hood graphic novel because that kind of a story doesn't really appeal to me. I know what happens. It's like I know Joker beats Jason to death with the crowbar. And now that takes me to my next point. When you're going to open up your movie with that scene, and it's like such a crucial part of the story, and in the comic, it is brutal. Like in the comic, I think it's Death in the Family is the original story where Jason dies, and he came back decades later as the Red Hood. Because that's what happens in comics. They kill somebody and they bring him back.
Mhm.
Right.
But which is fine. But he like there is blood everywhere. Jason is like gagging and like dying in front of the Joker. So you've got in this scene. You got John DeMage use terrible voice acting and stupid lines, trying to sound menacing and like lighthearted, but the execution is just so bad. And the worst we're seeing from Jason Todd, and maybe this is just me, is that he's kind of got scuffs on his face. He's like kind of dirty. He's like, no, but he's literally being beaten with a crowbar. But I don't think we're really seeing that. And I get it. Like this movie is trying to like I mean, the core audience is probably younger, a younger age, I think. But this
Younger
isn't. But
teenagers.
but the
It's
theme of
PG-13.
yeah, but and exactly, and like we see that dude's head explode after Jason shoots
Off camera,
the
obviously.
yeah. So I don't know. Okay, well let me ask y'all. Does that scene like how did you feel when you saw that opening scene? Did it
I
resonate with you?
I actually did get like, I mean, not knowing the
What
comic,
was it like, quote unquote? Was it like kind of upsetting?
it was actually. It
Mhm.
actually was like, and and because I felt the same way a long time ago when I first watched it too. It did kind of give me like that gut wrenching feel of like even though I don't know even though I know next to nothing about Robin,
Yeah.
um, it's just like but I know enough that like he's like Batman's partner, and he's like a juvenile delinquent kid who Batman is trying to like take under his wing, no pun intended.
Hmm.
And just like watching him just being like just beaten to death with a
Hmm.
crowbar, and then like Joker like lifts his head up and he's like joking with him like I can't hear you, and then he spits in his face and the Joker like smashes his head back on the
Yeah.
concrete floor, and he like lifts his head up and his entire mouth is like bleeding and all that kind of crap. So
Hmm.
and I mean that's
Yeah, that it
it
does
just made
kind
me
of get
it made me feel like pretty like
it does
oh
a
about it.
it does a little bit more at the end. It just seems like
Hmm.
they're still executing it in the same way that like um especially like that DC wing of animation has executed like violence,
Hmm.
where you see the swing and there's like the brief flash of white. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? And
Hmm.
they do that. But like when we are or I should say when I have already used to seeing that same thing happen when Batman beats up criminals, and then like the criminals are always just kind of like, oh, they're kind of just knocked around. I'm applying that same mentality to the Joker hitting Jason Todd with a crowbar, because it's like,
Hmm.
oh, this is just like Batman hitting. Does that make sense? It's just like Batman
Yeah.
Sure.
hitting a henchman. What they could have done is push that PG-13 a little bit more, and I get it. Like it is in the story. I think Jason Todd is supposed to be like, I don't know how old he is in the movie, but when he gets killed by the Joker, he's like 16 years old, and so that's horrific. Like
Hmm.
the joke, it's like one of the most. This was like that was a sick time. I was like the 80s, I think. They
Hmm.
were doing super edgy stuff. So like the Joker beating a child to death with a crowbar, pretty much one of the most like sickest things he's ever done.
Hmm.
I mean, he doesn't actually kill him, but then he does blow him up afterwards.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I think there is a way to like execute that scene and say this is
Hmm.
different. This is not the same as like Batman kicking ass, or
Right, but in the context of it, you got Batman, who's Batman. It can beat literally any criminal because he's a trained ninja, and all the henchmen, they're not like they're obviously very inexperienced, and they're henchmen. They're meant to be cannon fodder.
Right.
And they're some of them have guns, some of them have like some of them look burly, even though they have like no like fighting experience.
Mm-hmm.
But then you compare that to Joker beating the crap out of Robin. He's not a fighter. He does not do hand-to-hand combat. He's all about like trickery, and that's kind of how Robin's put in this place in the first place. Is Joker tricked him and somehow tied him. We don't see that, but it's implied that Joker led him somewhere, and then Batman got sidetracked, and then Joker captured him and tied him up and whatnot. But it's seeing like someone who with immense power like Robin, who can shatter people's collarbone and capture the Riddler no problem, because he's incredibly like talented, and he was trained by a literal ninja like Batman. To see him handcuffed on the floor, unable to do anything, just beating the crap by a nobody who is a nobody.
Well, but by a villain that we don't really see do that. I get what you're saying.
Exactly. Someone who is not capable of doing that is doing that.
I totally get what you're saying, and I agree. I agree. Like why, like seeing something like that, and that side of it, that makes sense to me. Why that would be appealing. But like when we're looking at Jason Todd, you're talking like, we have no connection to this character going into the movie, because if we are talking from a position of like not really having a lot of Batman information, not having a lot of Batman knowledge, but we do get it in flashbacks, and honestly I think the strongest flashback is the one at the end, like the final scene where he first sees Jason Todd trying to steal the rims off the Batmobile, which is what happened. I'm pretty sure that's what happens in the comics. I don't know. It's like, that's great. That stuff's great. But like, we should have taken our time, established what happens, and then made it like like 2 movies almost. I mean, I feel like they could have easily done that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this movie has like an 8, above an 8 on IMDb. So maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm missing like
No, I mean, honestly, we shouldn't really care about ratings for movies. Like, more power.
No,
like,
yeah, I know, but it does speak a little bit to like the majority, and that's fine. But I don't know. I really don't. I don't think they're trying to hide his identity at all. Like, because I mean, by like 45 minutes in, Batman's already they already are like revealing it. But I mean, I guess that is technically the halfway point of the movie if we're looking at runtime. What else? Oh yeah, there was just one scene that bothered me. Like the action was really cool and everything. You can tell that there's like, this is like post like Nolan Batman, because they're doing like kind of Christopher Nolan type stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like when the Red Hood jacks those weapons off that helicopter, and there's like the guys who have their arms zip tied, and they're just standing there with their guns or whatever. You guys remember the scene?
Oh yeah. Well, I remember the part where he jacks the helicopter.
Yeah, well, okay, so in that scene, like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Matt,
it was weird.
You just watched this. You should have seen it. So they're like,
it was awkward.
So like, well, it's not. Well, it was just weird. It's not that awkward, but there's one nip. This is like a nitpick, literally a nitpick. He's like disguised as being part of the group that's like receiving the weapons, but really he's there to hijack the helicopter and take the weapons. Well, he's like secretly like zip tied all the henchmen, and so like the helicopter guys think that they're all okay, but really it's like that scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker has duct taped all the guys' hands together. It's kind of like that, but like the guys are just standing there with their hands zip tied, their mouths are not covered, and they're not like knocked out or anything. He's just like got their hands zip tied, and it's like nobody's gonna like be like, hey, that's the Red Hood, or like dude,
it was weird.
Like I mean, it could be their own.
He jacks the weapons, and then all the guys just like fall over, and they're just like,
yeah. I didn't remember that. I was like, oh,
well, but if they were his henchmen, why were their hands zip tied?
I don't know.
That one scene, I was just like,
this makes weird.
This makes no sense. I know, that's kind of like, that's me getting very YMS-y. YMS is very like.
No, you're fine.
But
no, I did. I'm glad you pointed that out, because I did find it awkward. I was like, I didn't even realize he'd zip tied them. I'm like, why did they all just fall over? But now I know.
Yeah,
but that's also kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like such a yeah, I don't know. And then one other nitpick. At one point, I can't remember what actually happened, but Bat Batman is like, "Oh, I was stupid and careless," you know what? And he goes, he's in his like street clothes and he's coming down to the Batcave
Right.
and he's talking to Alfred and he goes into this door and like literally 2 seconds later the door opens and he's in his bat outfit. It's like he's like, how did he change that so fast? But it was so fun. Let me hold on. I'm gonna probably end up posting this on because I'm not communicating this one. Let me see if I can stream it real quick.
But
It's
I know what you're talking about, where it kind of closes and then opens. I think it's supposed
it's
to be
like
like one of those superhero quick change things.
no, it
But
is, but
yeah,
he's like being like it's like supposed to be a serious scene. Let me see.
yeah, right.
Hold on, bear with me. Bear with me. I may. I don't think I'm gonna get. Nobody watches. YouTube doesn't care about my stuff, so let me see. Where was it?
Well, you might not be able to because YouTube won't let you stream things. We tried doing it
Well,
in our small group.
I'm not gonna stream it. I'm just gonna post the video.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. Where is it?
I mean, I still have it rented on YouTube, so I can probably look it up real quick too.
I know. I'm just trying to. Where was it? Is it back here? Is it right here? Come on. Anyway, Mark, talk about what you like about the movie while I'm doing this.
Well, now you got me looking it up too. Stupid and careless.
I'm just trying to. Is it when he first finds out it's Jason Todd?
When he does the blood DNA test.
Oh.
Or no, when they find the
yeah,
body.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is. It is when they.
I found it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, you found that way faster than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was like,
He
okay.
just like goes in and he just comes right back out and he's dressed.
Yeah, like
it's
stupid
kind
and careless. Yeah.
he's just like back out. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, those are just silly nitpicks. And then like they don't even like they make the Joker seem like kind of a dumbass because he doesn't even realize it's Jason Todd. Like, like the Joker is like okay, and again, this is just based on my Batman knowledge. The Joker is like super mega intelligent. Like he's got like a super good memory and everything. And he's like when Jason like has him captured, he's like, "Oh, I'm someone from your past." And the Joker's like, "Ooh, cryptic. Tell me more." It's like, how do you not know who this is? He just said he's gonna beat you with the crowbar. How many people
Right.
have you beat to death with a crowbar? But which was actually you've probably beaten a decent amount of people to death with the crowbar.
Yeah, that's
probably. But anyway, so I thought the action's good. It's got that good old American animation that looks
Mhm.
tight.
Right.
The incorporation of they use some like 3D models here and there, like crates and stuff flying around, and that looks pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Were there any lines that you liked?
Lines I like. Well, no. Well, no. No, no, that's not true. I liked the stuff where we're actually getting to see like character development. I don't think the worst, and this is probably why I've never read, and I don't know if this is how they do it in the Red Hood graphic novel, but I hate this element of Batman where they're just like, if he kills somebody, he will never be able to turn back. Like that just is so ridiculous to me. Like he's like, that's my turning point, and he's like, and so like when he's like explaining that to Jason at the end, like it just seems so trite and like it like to me when he's like, no, because when I kill the Joker, I won't be able to turn back. I'll become a psychopath who will want to murder everybody or something. And it's just like
Mhm.
to me that's just so like that doesn't resonate with me. Like some people are like, oh yeah, that's like Batman, yeah. Like to me it's like, no. I really wish they had made it more about well, Bruce Wayne failing Jason Todd, and for him, like, but suddenly the story turns into like, and again, this is probably how the Red Hood's comic goes. It's all about like Jason Todd pushing Bruce to like take it to the next level because that's what he's doing, you know. Like, why won't you just kill him? But like, really, I think I would have been happier with a story that focuses more on Bruce being like, "I'm sorry, I failed you," blah blah blah, and we get more of like Jason and Bruce kind of together. Before we get a couple scenes here and there, we get a scene where he breaks the guy's collarbone, and Batman's like, "Ah, you're gonna put him into shock," and like right after we just saw Batman in a scene like crushing a dude's hand for no reason. He's like, okay, Batman, come on. You beat the shit out of everyone. You
Yeah.
and like we literally just heard the Joker go, "What? You gonna put me in a 6-month coma again or something?" It's like, and Batman's like, "Hey, don't break that guy's collarbone." It's like,
Yeah,
what are you?
that was a weird line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we could have like developed. I don't know.
Hmm.
Me, I'm just maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I would have liked a more focused story on Jason Todd and Bruce Wayne's relationship beforehand, and then we get into it. But this, like, everyone wants to see how cool the Red Hood is, which,
Yeah.
and I'm not like a mega Red Hood fan, I guess, either. I've never been
Hmm.
like, it's like, okay, he's Batman with
Hmm.
guns. Wow, yeah, very, very edgy.
Hmm.
um, yeah, no, I mean, I like the action. Um, yeah.
Uh, to kind of counter the idea that like, and I really don't want to like switch back and forth between like Batman and the entirety of the universe
Yeah.
rather than Batman seen from just this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I guess like,
But okay, wait, hold on. Before that,
okay,
let me just say, but this story is expecting us to accept all this pre-existing
okay,
lore that they are showing us, but not giving us the full picture. So like that
okay,
is part of it. But anyway, go
okay,
ahead.
okay. Then going off of that, because I think I can argue either way, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's this idea that like when you've committed yourself, like your life to an ideal, and you are threatened with that, are threatened with the chance to break that rule, then like it could like shatter your entire like output on life, or for Batman a lot of things, you know. It's like the whole reason, you know, like first of all, Batman's entire philosophy can be incredibly like critiqued with the way he does things, you know. But like his entire like motivation for doing things is uh or for being Batman is, you know, I gotta try and take care of Gotham
yeah.
with as a symbol, because and not just as Bruce Wayne. I'm referring back to the first Batman movie by Christopher Nolan, where, you know, he talks about like, I can't just defeat the crimes of Gotham just as like Bruce Wayne, as someone who can like perish, someone who is um corruptible or something like that. I have to be an idea, I have to be a symbol, all the kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And and Batman is going to be that symbol. And Batman is known for not killing criminals, but obviously seriously hurting them, and then arresting them. Um, so if you like, if you're like, I am that person who won't kill anyone and I'll bring everyone to justice, I'll lock them up, whatever, and then you actually like kill some, and then he actually like kills someone, then it's like, what does Batman mean anymore? You know, Batman is
No,
this. Yeah.
I totally get that. Like, I understand that's always been Batman's thing. That's what I that to me, I get the whole like, yeah, no, that was a good explanation though. But like, my issue is like, it's when he says it out loud, baby, and it just seems so like trite to me. It's like, I just don't buy, like, to me that doesn't resonate me as in the whole scope of the story. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and that's what I'm saying. I would have liked a different focus of the
Mm-hmm.
story as a
Oh
whole.
yeah, for
And I think it
sure.
would have resonated with me better if it
Mm-hmm.
had, and it just, I don't know. That's really what it comes
Mm-hmm.
down to. And
Mm-hmm. They're throwing two different themes at you. One where Batman's trying to get back Robin, and Batman trying to not kill the Joker, even though Robin's like trying to like, you
yeah,
know, and trying to like motivate him to do so. So they're definitely throwing two different like sort of plots at you.
Yeah. Well,
and
it's
so
just
it's kind of like what you do, you know.
it's just like a very serious, kind of dark chapter in Batman's library, and it's just not something that you can really do. I don't know. I mean, maybe you can in like an hour and
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I would feel this way about any of the other like Batman's animated stories that are like
Mm-hmm.
based off of pre-existing material. Just to throw this out there, I think Batman movies like Mask of the Phantasm, where it's like it's its own standalone story, it's unique, it is written for TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Movies like that are like Batman at his best. There's a main theme. Um, there is a main antagonist for better or for worse, and that's it. And it is Batman focused. This
Mm-hmm.
movie is just kind of like they're throwing in like the Black Mask stuff. They're throwing in the Red Hood. They're throwing in Joker,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean these are all things that are part of the original story. But when you're trying to compound all of that into an hour and 15 minutes, to me, it's just really hard for anything to stick with me, and it just feels like it's like bah, 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 bah. And that's
Do
when
you,
I talk about the tonally inconsistent stuff. Because one minute you have, the Black Mask punching his thugs, and it's kind of like played up for humor, and
mm-hmm.
then you have Jason Todd murdering people, and then you have the Joker making Big Bang Theory level jokes, and then you have like Nightwing and Batman doing. It's like why was I guess they kind of had to show that there's other Robins, I guess, but like Nightwing did not even need to be in this movie, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but like people like Nightwing, so it's like I get
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't know.
didn't. I actually liked. I also agree that he did not. This movie was about Batman and Robin. You know, it like having. I did like Nightwing's appearance in the film,
Mhm.
but I I don't think that he was supposed to that he was necessary. You know, he wasn't.
Mhm.
He was like he was there to kind of help Batman whenever he needed it, but he wasn't really shown to be an integral part of the story anyway. He was just kind of just to be there to help Batman whenever Batman needed it.
Yeah.
In fact, like whenever like he break his legs broken, you know, like after that he's just out. I mean, like Batman's like, go home, get some rest, thank you, all
Yeah.
the kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So
So it's like, why was he even
mhm,
there in the first place?
yeah, but I did like
But
some of the scenes where like he's trying to help him, you know, like where Red Hood throws the helicopter over the side, and
it's a
like
cool scene.
and like and I will be honest, I actually did like some of Nightwing's quips, even though they could be like pretty cheesy. Like the part where, because I laughed the first time I saw this movie too, where you know like Nightwing's about to like say like, oh, what should we like? He's like, oh, should we? And then like Batman's like already like running after the helicopter jumps down. And he's like, I guess to take care of this then. He like pulls out like
Hmm.
the nail gun thing and like
Yeah,
starts
no,
like
that you're right.
try
That was
helping the
good.
ground. So
Yeah, no, yeah. For the
yes.
record, I did not hate this movie. Like there is some
Mm-hmm.
elements to it that I somewhat enjoyed, but I think overall pretty disappointed.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know if I'd say. Well, yeah, frustrating and just kind of like to me the like the just the story itself was executed in such a way that I found it boring. But anyway, me
Mm.
and Mark have been talking nonstop, mostly me. But Matthew, do you have any input? I know you're not feeling good, but
No, it's all right. Yeah, my voice has gotten better, by the way. Like 2 or 3 days ago, I sounded like a dying toad.
oh, good.
So
Well,
this is actually better than it was before.
That's
yeah.
good.
Um, Will, I can understand all the points you're making. Um, if it's like, especially from the perspective of someone who has more experience, not even necessarily like a fangirl, but just more experience with the Batman stuff.
Hmm.
And especially if because I'm gonna be honest, I think this is the only Batman animated movie I've even seen.
Mm.
Same here.
Um, I think I've seen maybe some of the cartoons. I've never been that big into like the Justice League anyway, like the cartoon show.
Okay. Well,
Um,
before you go any further, then I highly recommend both of y'all on HBO Max watch Mask of the Phantasm.
okay,
It
yeah.
is, and it's an hour and 15 minutes long like this. And just tell me what you think. Like you could just, we don't have to have I'm not this, that's not my pick.
Yeah.
Recommending it. And you can, send me a message on Telegram telling me what you think. Because like I said, I think it's like a focus story and it's not really based on any pre-existing material. Anyway, Matthew, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think for me, kind of the thing that I was thinking about was like the first time I saw this movie, which was, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, probably more than that. Because like you said, well, it came out in 2011. Um,
2010, yeah.
so I was just kind of comparing it to my first watch, and I went into it with like no expectations. So I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. I think I think if I see other Batman animated movies or read more of the comics or watched the show, I don't know, maybe that would change. Maybe it'd be a little different. Maybe this is just like, because there's no level that I'm really like setting this movie at, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it enough.
No, I guess I mean, I am somewhat, but
Yeah, somewhat. But I enjoyed it enough. Uh, I think my only issue with it, to be honest, is I don't think I have a whole lot to say about it. Because the one thing I wanted to bring up, and this is a stupid point because I know every single DC movie
it's not
does this.
stupid.
I hate it how these kind of characters, these human characters who have no like augmentations to their body, no super soldier serum, none of that crap, are like getting their heads bashed against bathroom tiles and it's breaking, and getting their heads smashed against toilets and it's cracking, or getting thrown back like 30 miles an hour into like a freight, like one of those big, large, like freight crates, and smashing into it and leaving a dent. And I'm just like, okay, are these guys like super
Yeah.
spy assassin heroes, or are they freaking Captain America and Master Chief? It's like, and the thing
but
is,
you're right. That is pretty standard, though.
yeah, I seriously doubt this is the only one that's done that. I just find that
I'm
stuff
sure.
kind of fun. Like it didn't bother me. I just laughed when I saw it because I'm like, okay, come on. It's like, I guess all these people are superheroes at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved the fight scene where Red Hood and Batman took on the assassins.
Yeah, it was a cool scene.
And
Yeah.
I love the line where like before the robot android assassin like goes to like try and take out Red Hood, where like he turns to Batman and he goes, I gotta say, I miss watching you work. That like that kind of like, it's small stuff like that. I'm like that's a good line. It's and
Yeah, see, that would be an
it's
example of where I would say it felt tonally off for me. Because it's like, wait, this is the guy who was beaten to death by the Joker. He blames Batman for everything, but now they're like buddy buddy, which it just doesn't work for me. But I get what you're saying. Like I get what you're saying there. Like that is like a cool line like that, because it's like it's referencing like their past history. And then that fight scene is really cool, but to me,
I think it's just kind of like in the moment. It's like like in the moment, it's like we've this is kind of like old times, and yes, like Red Hood like hates Batman for not getting revenge on the Joker and leaving him still alive. But I guess it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, in the moment, it's like you let all that stuff like go to the side. It's because like, yeah, I hate you a ton, and why is this guy still alive? But I do kind of miss what we had together, sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I also don't like the part where Joker captures all the guys and puts them in the truck on the bridge, and then like Red Hood's at the top of the bridge, and he's like, and Joker's like, ah ha ha, who are you? This was my plan, and I led you out here. And then Red Hood's like, aha, nope, actually it was my plan to get you out here, and now you're part of my plan. And Joker's like, what? You fooled me? You fooled me and took my plan over? And like, it's supposed to be like the serious scene where like Joker's like about to burn the guys. I don't know. I just
no, that's it reminds me of like the episode of Futurama where like the robot, the ape is trying to like convince the doctor, I forget his name is, the doctor that like evolution like doesn't exist, and he's like trying to like do like, he's like, ha, I got you, and he's like, I got you again.
Farnsworth is like proving him wrong over and over. He's like, yes, I got you right where I want you.
So it's like that whole thing was, and you're like trying to be like wait, is this supposed to be like serious? Like Joker's about to just burn these people
100%.
alive.
I feel like it was supposed to be serious. Like it was just supposed to be like, oh wow, Red Hood outsmarted Joker or whatever. And it's just like, that's All right, I guess.
Yeah, I can definitely see like the tonal shifts. I like looking back on it. Yeah, I can see that, but definitely like when I was in the moment, I was too like blinded by nostalgia.
Which is no, yeah, that's I mean, yeah, like there is like this like there's two aspects I feel like when it comes to like looking at a movie. You look at like how it resonates with you emotional level, and then there's like the stuff that you can I don't want to say objective, but there is like you can look at specific pieces of the movie, um, like the parts of the whole, and like make judgments based on that. And that's kind of how I try to treat some of my ratings. That's
No,
not
that's
how I.
like
That's not how I do. Like a lot of my like my tens, my 10 out of 10s tend to be just movies that like really emotionally resonate with me, and I'm just like I love this movie. Like, do I think Good Time is like a perfect movie? Absolutely not. It's got so
Mhm.
many flaws. Like, there's so much weird like shit, and you can nitpick like a bunch of stuff in that movie, but like I don't. There's just some I just love it. So like
mhm.
yeah, for you to like love the Red Hood and like really enjoy this movie, like I and can totally get that.
No,
Sure.
yeah, and like and what you said earlier, like it's totally cool to be like, hey, I can see why you like this movie, and it definitely has like a bunch of like good setup and payoffs, and like the emotion is there, and it's great. But it is like healthy to like also look at this movie from a technical point of view and be like, well, the tones don't really work here
Mm,
because like the Joker scene, for instance, like well, and you know, Joker is known for being like very comedic, even in very serious situations.
hmm
You know, even The Dark Knight,
right.
one of the best Batman movies ever made, has those elements of like, should we be laughing here? But like Joker's kind of maniacal, or like is this
Yeah,
like lighthearted?
it has to be executed
So
properly.
so so yeah,
Yeah.
tone is definitely something that you could measure and argue and say this was handled poorly. You know,
Hmm
Yeah.
I may not see it that way
hmm
because but I could definitely recognize that, oh yeah, that is like something they could have done better. They could have definitely
Yep.
either kept
But
it, hey, we're
if
going to be
it didn't,
completely joking, we're
yeah,
going
but
to
if
be
it did,
completely
if
serious.
yeah, and if it didn't detract
Mhm.
from your enjoyment of the movie, that's what matters.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
stuff like that, like affects tends to affect my enjoyment more,
Right.
especially if I notice
Sure.
it. Like
Yeah.
when I was watching like the worst movie I've ever seen in like a long time, because I had more fun watching Saw Spiral. Um, the new Space Jam is like dog shit. It is like one of the worst things I've ever seen. It is like bad from start to finish. Of course,
We were talking about doing a dual review of that someday.
yeah, I
I
was
have
thinking.
not seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys does the first one hold any sort of meaning to y'all? Did you grow
Not
up?
really.
I have to
Yeah,
watch it again, but I
it's just
keep
an
like
age thing.
every time I think back on Space Jam, I'm like, oh, this is such like I love this movie so much, and it has
Yeah.
been a while since I've seen it, but I think it's just a place that holds, it has a special place in my heart, really.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not like by any means a good movie, but
No,
it is better than
it's
the new one. Like the new one
okay.
is like one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
But
I
anyway,
haven't seen it.
okay, all right. Well, it's already 9. We've been at this for a while. Good discussion. Matthew, you talked the least. Do you have any last thoughts?
Um, overall, I thought this was a fine movie. You
Hmm
know, it's definitely worthy of criticism, I think. I think if I maybe I think like in a year's time I might revisit it, especially after I've seen other like DC animated movies, specifically animated. I might revisit it to see how it holds up
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of the
if
tone.
this is the best one, I don't want to watch the other ones, but, or at least the other new ones. Like,
Yeah, but it's
I am giving a soft recommendation for Mask of the Phantasm.
mm,
Just give it a chance.
sure.
Hmm.
You don't have to watch the whole thing, but it is only an hour and 15 minutes. That's like 3 One Piece episodes.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was fine. It was okay.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
I really don't have much more. By the way, I had no idea who the heck Black Mask was before watching
Oh,
this.
really?
He's just a
Yeah,
mob boss. Yeah, I
yeah,
haven't.
Yeah, he's like one of
I
the
don't.
biggest, like one of the most like hardcore crime bosses in the Batman universe.
kind of like the Kingpin of DC or
Base kind,
Batman, kind of.
yeah, he's more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kingpin's kind of like got the whole like honor thing going on because he like leads
Sure.
the Black Hand. Is that what it is? I
Uh,
don't remember, but anyway, but the Black Mask is more like kind of gangster scum type deal.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see
Anyway,
that.
he's a bad dude.
is he
But
like? Does he lead? Does he like run Gotham the same way Lex Luthor runs Metro City?
no,
No.
he's an
Okay.
underground crime lord.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, no, he's
I,
not
I
like
kind
a
of figured.
Yeah, like he's more like a kingpin character. Like
Okay.
he owns like he probably controls like certain districts and stuff. But all right. Anyway, so we'll do ratings and then I
Movie
will
recommendation. Yeah.
recommendation. Okay, Matthew,
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. All right.
You know, it's okay. It's I think it's at least worth checking out.
Yeah. Mark,
I'm gonna give it a solid 7.
7 out of 10. All right. Okay, and 4 out of 10 from me.
4 out of 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a movie I'd probably ever watch again. But had some good action. The flashbacks, I enjoyed those because that was like the stuff that I was looking for.
Mhm.
And yeah. Did Joker's voice bother either of you? But okay, but you guys don't have the history that I do of like growing up with the Mark Hamill Joker, right?
No,
All I
to
know
be
is
honest,
Heath
I don't.
Ledger. All I know
Yeah.
is Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's just that
And the
disconnect there.
terrible Jared Leto one.
I haven't heard that one yet, thankfully. Well, no, I have heard it.
Suicide Squad, really.
I have heard the Suicide Squad. Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, let me see.
But
I have not
I
even thought about a recommendation, so let me think real quick. But Mark, go ahead and talk while I'm thinking.
I was gonna answer your question. Like you said, what did you all think about Joker? I wasn't completely like, oh, it's such like a that definitely like takes me away from the movie, but it definitely was my least favorite voice actor for the film for sure. Besides the laugh, yeah, he had a good laugh, but I mean, but yeah, and I would say definitely wasn't the best voice actor, but I was gonna say he does have some good lines to me. You know, like tell the Batman I said like hello or something like that, and you know he's being like to me he's being completely insane like he always is, and I don't know how Black Mask didn't think things were going to go horribly wrong. Who tried to hire the Joker to take out,
Which
just
is
like
what
it was,
happens in The Dark Knight. Remember the
yeah,
crime
just
crime
like it was.
lords
Yeah,
hire.
that's right.
Yeah. And when Ra's al Ghul tries to hire Joker to deal with Batman, he kills Robin. You know, he's like, that was not what I wanted at all either. So yeah,
I
it's just like
know.
I don't know how he keeps getting hired.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
I am recommending Akira Kurosawa's movie from 1985. It's called Ran. It is
Ran.
it is basically Hamlet with samurais.
Ah.
Ran is
That
our
sounds
next
fun.
yeah, Ran is our next movie. And as a soft recommendation, and if we all watch it, or if we all watch it before the next movie, maybe we can briefly talk about how we felt about Batman Mask of the Phantasm if y'all.
Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 weeks from now, we'll check that out. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. It's been so long.